Hello, if you like our format, leave your comment. We have book recommendations in the description to improve your English. The House with the Singing Walls. In a secluded valley, far from any town, stood an old, peculiar house. Locals whispered stories about it, calling it the House with the Singing Walls. It was said that on certain nights when the wind blew just right, the very walls of the house would seem to hum with a low melodic sound. A young architect named Ben was intrigued by these tales. He was drawn to unusual buildings and their histories. One day he decided to seek out the house and uncover the truth behind the legends. After a long hike through the valley, he found it, a weathered stone house, its windows dark and its surroundings overgrown. As dusk began to settle, a gentle breeze rustled through the valley. Ben stood quietly listening. At first there was only the sound of the wind, but then he heard it, a faint resonant hum, as if the house itself was breathing a deep, ancient song. He approached the house cautiously and touched one of the stone walls. The vibration was subtle, but he could feel it, a low thrumming that seemed to emanate from within the very structure. He explored the exterior, noticing strange carvings on the stones and unusual architectural details. Intrigued, Ben found a way inside. The interior was dusty and still, filled with forgotten furniture draped in white sheets. As he moved through the rooms, the humming sound seemed to shift in intensity, growing louder in some areas and softer in others. He eventually found a hidden chamber in the basement. In the center of the room was a series of intricately carved pipes embedded in the walls, connected by a network of unseen channels. As the wind blew across openings on the roof, it created a flow of air through these pipes, producing the mysterious singing sound. The house wasn't haunted, as some legends suggested. It was simply a unique architectural creation, designed by someone with a deep understanding of acoustics and the natural elements. Ben spent the night in the house, listening to the wind play its ancient tune on the stone walls. He left in the morning, not with a tale of ghosts, but with the fascinating story of a house that sang to the wind, a testament to human ingenuity and the hidden wonders that can be found in the most unexpected places. The unexpected gift on a cold day. The late autumn wind whipped through the city streets, carrying with it a biting chill. People hurried along, their heads down and collars turned up, eager to escape the cold. Among them was an elderly man named Arthur, who sat on a park bench, his thin coat offering little protection against the harsh weather. He held a worn-out hat in his outstretched hand, hoping for a few coins from passers-by. Most people hurried past without a glance, their minds preoccupied with their own concerns. Arthur shivered, his fingers growing numb. Just as his hope began to dwindle, a young woman named Sarah stopped in front of him. She had a kind smile and carried a large, colorful scarf. "It looks like a cold day," Sarah said gently. "Would you mind if I sat with you for a moment?" Arthur, surprised by her kindness, nodded silently. Sarah sat down beside him and, without a word, unwrapped her scarf and carefully placed it around his shoulders. The soft wool provided an immediate warmth, a small but significant comfort against the biting wind. "Thank you," Arthur murmured, his voice raspy. "That's very kind of you." "It's no trouble at all," Sarah replied. "I have another one at home. And here, she added, pressing a few bills into his hand. Please get yourself something warm to drink. Arthur's eyes welled up with gratitude. He hadn't expected such kindness from a stranger. They sat in comfortable silence for a few more minutes, the only sound the whistling wind. Then Sarah stood up, a small smile gracing her lips. Take care, she said. Stay warm. As Sarah walked away, Arthur clutched the scarf around him, feeling not just the warmth of the wool, but also the warmth of her unexpected generosity. It was a small act, but on a cold and lonely day, it felt like the greatest gift he could have received. A reminder that even in the midst of a bustling city, kindness could still be found. The Secret of the Sunken Garden. Behind the old rambling house on the hill, there was a place the locals called the Sunken Garden. It was said that long ago a wealthy landowner had created a magnificent garden in a natural depression in the land, filled with exotic plants in a shimmering pond. But over time the garden had been neglected, and now it was a wild, overgrown space, rumored to be forgotten and lost. A young girl named Lily, who had recently moved to the house with her family, was fascinated by the stories of the sunken garden. One sunny afternoon, armed with an old map she found in the attic, she ventured into the overgrown woods behind the house, determined to find it. The woods were dense and quiet, sunlight filtering through the leaves in dappled patterns. Lily followed the faded lines in the map, pushing through tangled vines and stepping over fallen logs. After what seemed like a long time, she stumbled upon a hidden clearing. Before her lay a breathtaking sight. The sunken garden was real, though wilder and more enchanting than she had imagined. Stone pathways, moss-covered and winding, led through a riot of colorful flowers and unusual plants. A small pond, reflecting the blue sky, sat at the center, its surface dotted with water lilies. As Lily explored, she discovered hidden statues, their stone surfaces softened by time and embraced by climbing vines. She heard the gentle buzzing of bees and the chirping of unseen birds. The air was filled with the sweet fragrance of blossoms she had never encountered before. It felt like stepping into a secret world, a place where time moved differently. Lily spent the entire afternoon in the sunken garden, marveling at its beauty and imagining the stories it held. She realized that even though it was considered lost, it had simply been waiting to be rediscovered. From that day on, the sunken garden became Lily's secret sanctuary, a magical place where nature and history intertwined, and where her imagination could bloom as freely as the flowers around her. The little bookstore on a winding lane, tucked away on a winding cobblestone lane, lined with colorful flower pots and the occasional stray cat, was a small bookstore called the Book Nook. Its windows were always filled with inviting displays of books, both old and new, and a gentle bell would chime whenever someone opened the door. The owner, a kind woman named Mrs. Willowbrook, knew every book in her store and seemed to have an uncanny ability to match readers with their perfect story. People came to the Book Nook not just to buy books, but also for Mrs. Willowbrook's recommendations and the quiet, comforting atmosphere of the shop. One rainy afternoon, a young man named Ethan wandered into the bookstore, seeking shelter from the downpour. He wasn't much of a reader, but the cozy ambiance and the scent of old paper intrigued him. Mrs. Willowbrook greeted him with a warm smile and offered him a cup of tea. As the rain pattered against the windows, Ethan browsed the shelves, his fingers trailing over the spines of countless books. Mrs. Willowbrook noticed his hesitant curiosity and gently guided him towards a collection of classic adventure stories. She told him about brave explorers in faraway lands, her voice filled with enthusiasm. Intrigued, Ethan picked out a book with a worn cover and a captivating title. He sat in a comfortable armchair by the window, the rain providing a soothing soundtrack as he began to read. Hours passed, and Ethan found himself lost in the pages, his imagination ignited by the tales of daring feats and undiscovered worlds. When the rain finally stopped, Ethan looked up, surprised by how much time had passed. He bought the book, thanking Mrs. Willowbrook for her kindness. As he stepped back out onto the cobblestone lane, the world seemed a little brighter, a little more full of possibilities, all thanks to a little bookstore on a winding lane and the magic held within its pages. Hello, if you like our format, leave your comment. We have book recommendations in the description to improve your English.